Hi, I'm Matt from Empiremods, and in this video we're going to go over the different ways you can set up your pipe. I have the opportunity to get really creative with the bowls and the shapes and the designs, and because we have an ego connector on here, you can get extremely creative with the way you set up your pipe, the stem arrangement, the drip tips, tanks, drip shields. There's all kinds of stuff that you can do with our pipes. So I'm going to start simple and point out each individual piece, put it together for you, see how it all goes together, and hopefully this will help answer some questions on what you can use with the pipe and how to set it up. So here we have two shankless pipes. We have a straight shanked shankless pipe and a bent shankless pipe. Basically what you want to do, if you're going to use like a simple ego style atomizer, this goes for the Ego Mega dual coil cartomizers, a type A atomizer, or a type B atomizer. They're all basically the same thing. They look like that in the threads, and on the straight shank you just thread it on. Now there is a bit of a gap here. That's for air. You do not want to over tighten your addy. We've gone over that before in the past, but you want to make sure there is a gap there and you don't over tighten your addy. Over tighten your addy is what causes the addy to short. So that's what it's going to look like on a straight shank. Here's a bent shank, and that's essentially the easiest setup you can do. Here's a Ego Mega dual coil. Just like the cone, it's going to thread on there. Now the only difference we have here is this little pipe stem from Empiremods. When you put this on the pipe, you're going to want to take the atomizer off, push and twist in, get that on there. Then you can stick it on the bent or the straight. Some of these come bent for a bent pipe, and then instead of turning the whole thing to get your bit straight, you want to grab a hold of the atomizer and turn this and get it straight that way. So here's our next setup. We have a 510 atomizer, a drip shield, and a drip tip. Alright, so for this we have a 510 cartomizer with a drip shield. This is a Ego style drip shield. It's meant to cover the threads in the cone, and a different CherryVape pawn drip tip. So this setup is similar to the last setup, but instead of using a standard drip tip, we're going to use one of our universal pipe stems from Empiremods, and we're going to put it together on a bent shankless pipe. So here we go. Alright, now for this one we're going to use this pipe, and we've got, instead of the Peterson stem, we've got a Churchwarden universal stem and a different drip shield from Empiremods. So let's put this one together. 510 Carto. Make sure your air holes for the Empire drip shield are up towards the end of the atomizer. If you flip it around the other way, it's going to leak. And your stem. Alright, so in this setup, it's kind of similar to what we've been doing before, but I'm going to add the booster. You just screw the booster on the pipe first. You can adjust the voltage with this knob here. And you take your atomizer, 510 atomizer, thread that on the pipe, and then you take your drip shield It's important to use a drip shield when you're putting a regular 510 on these mods, just to keep the liquid off of the wood. You don't want to be dripping liquid onto the wood because that can damage the pipe. Once you get the booster, your 510, and your drip shield on there, just stick your stem on there, and you've got a nice long church warden style pipe. Here's a setup with bent shankless Ego Mega dual coil cartomizer and the long taper lucite stem from Empiremods. Alright, now we're going to get into some different stuff. This is an ArtisanVape cannon, and it's basically an 801 with a 510 thread on it. So you can thread a cut cone onto the pipe, and then thread your stealth cannon or cannon onto the pipe. You get a nice short little device. So here we have the DCA from GoodSenseVaping. This is a really stealthy way to set up your pipe. It looks really pretty neat. So first you're going to want a cut cone. Just kind of dress out the threads, and you take the base of your DCA without the 306 in it and screw that on. Then you're going to take the top piece and the drip tip. I've already got those two together, and you put your 306 into the top piece and then thread your 306 into the DCA. So if you're a big fan of the 306, hardcore 306 fans just won't do anything else, you can actually use our pipe stems in conjunction with the DCA. If you are a 306 fan, I highly recommend a DCA. It's kind of like a drip shield for a 510. It just works really well to keep the liquid off of the mod. So I'm going to show you how to set this up with a pipe stem. So you got your dress ring. Hide those ego threads. The base. Thread the base on. The 306 is actually already in this top half of the DCA. We're going to thread that on, and then take your stem and just put that in the end of the DCA, and there you have it. Now if you want to use a 901 on the pipe, which is really nice, you're going to need an adapter. I don't have an adapter quite on hand right now, so basically just get a 510 adapter to a 901 adapter, and you're able to screw this on there and then use a drip shield on that and put whatever drip tip you want. Now the 901s will also fit the universal stems, so you can set it up essentially the same as a 510. You just need the adapter. So here we have the Odysseus from CloudsofVapor. This is made by the same folks that did the Gigi. We've got a little bell style cone for a tank, and we're just going to screw that onto the pipe, and then take the Odysseus and screw that on. I like to wind my bell back out a little bit and lock the Odysseus in place, and there you go. You have a rebuildable atomizer on a pipe. So here we have the bent pipe and a tuxedo tank from CherryVape, and what we're going to do is use again the little bell cone adapter and then thread the tank on. Now this tank has a cardo in it and the universal already. Thread that on, and then you can take whatever stem you like and just put that into the universal, and you have a nice tank on your pipe. Alright, so here's another tank set up. This is a neat little tank from CloudsofVapor, and normally this tank is going to require an XL 510 cartomizer. This is a regular 510 cartomizer, and I'll show you how to make this work. We're going to put the dress ring on first, then the 510 cartomizer, slide the tank on, Now you can fill the tank at this point, then slide it down as far as you can, stick the universal on the tank, and then your stem. And there you've got a nice, really nice finished looking pipe. So there you have it, folks. There are any number of different ways you can set up your pipe. I hope this helped to answer some questions. You saw some of the simplest ways to set up your pipe into some of the most complicated and most elaborate ways to set up your pipe. Have fun with it, be creative, and keep an eye out on Empiremods for new stems, longer stems, different colored stems, shorter stems. You should have a bunch of different stuff for you. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching.